A new comprehensive transportation plan, I think that might be in order at
Well,
this
it's been
point.
2002 since the last one was
That's
written.
right, yeah. So it's time to upgrade, and even since this term started, our needs have changed, right? And even we've okayed Lily Lake. We have to really consider what are we going to do to accommodate all that. 2,300 houses. I mean, that's a lot of houses. That's a lot of cars.
Would you be comfortable in a new transportation plan update directing consultants not to come back with a Parkway?
But that's an official plan matter too.
Yeah, well, this is it too. Well, it's interesting I would like to see alternatives and see what we're looking at. And again, I'm concerned with Lily Lake and other subdivisions that we've okayed. How are we going to get people back and forth to those areas, and do we have the roadways to do it? At the moment, I don't believe we do. So I want alternatives. I want options. I'm an option kind of guy, so I do want to see that.
Is Lily Lake, is that in Northcrest or Monaghan?
That's actually Monaghan Ward.
It is
yeah.
Monaghan. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Biggest
you
ward
know,
right now.
Yeah.
But,
There's not been a comprehensive update since 2002, but there have been a number of sort of Parkway-centric updates, and they always looked at options, and they always said none of those options are as good as the Parkway. You know, it'd be interesting to see what happens if you don't tell consultants, look, we're not going to get the Parkway done, find something else for us.
And they usually say, but you've got this roadway and you already own the land. What is wrong with you?
No, and I understand that too.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's when I look at the Southern Corridor. It's just sitting there,
I
and we have the
know.
money, and we have the land, and let's just do it. And if it was done by now, then we can move on to something else.
And-
But you know,
I guess, ironically, if there was no Parkway plan, it would be easier to do the Southern Corridor, because what the province has said is you have to consider the entire length as
Yeah.
one unit.
That's right.
And yeah, if the plan no longer exists, then you can treat it as a local street.
yeah, no, and I mean that's true. That's what's holding us back right now. So yeah.
Well, and speaking of streets, and we mentioned it in the mayor's segment, the Chandler Crescent Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
What's your opinion of that? Because you would be aware, I mean, it looks like there was a lot of support to go ahead and build it before the roads were improved and try to avoid any kind of, dangerous and backlog in traffic. What was your position on
Yeah,
that?
well, it's interesting. Among all the reports, the Chandler Crescent
There's the corner
one
there, yeah.
was, yeah, it came up, but in those reports too, we also had, we had the official plan, and you'd think you'd be talking more about the official plan, but this Tim Hortons thing came up, and all of a sudden we're talking about Tim Hortons.
And it was zoned for Tim Hortons.
It's zoned, yeah, it's properly zoned. When you're looking at that, I had a chance to talk to a lot of the constituents in that area. Of course, it's the Monaghan Ward. And that corner, yeah, it's dangerous, and you add more traffic to it. I actually sat there one day from 8 a.m. to probably about 8:30, and just to see the buses, everything going in. So it was pretty busy, but you'd see an empty bus go in, and then a full bus come out of children, and about 4 of them. So it just shows you that how many families are in there.
Yeah.
So there's an importance to that too. That corner, if it's dangerous, then we want to make sure we fix it.
You're
But
probably thinking, geez, I'd love to get a coffee while I'm sitting there.
well, the interesting thing is too, I did see the odd person coming in sipping on a Tim Hortons coffee, so I thought this is interesting data too. So, but I don't think we should put anything in there until that roadway is done properly. And
But how's the zoning? Are you guys not micromanaging a site plan at this point?
well, it's all a matter of safety. And what happened is that should be done by now. And we're delayed, and we shouldn't be delayed. And it really, when it comes back to it, it is our fault. That roadway up to that point should be done by now. We delayed it because we didn't have the land. We didn't get the land in time. But that's our fault. That's our planning. So when I look at it, do I want a safe intersection for that area? Absolutely. And what you're going to see it come back to, most likely, on Monday,
Right.
that they won't build that until we have, they won't build the Tim Hortons until they've done that intersection.
Now, is that you looking at a crystal ball or just some information?
A little bit of information because we've been pushing hard for it,
Counting some votes.
and we've actually listened to, but no, we've listened to the constituents, and we've listened to that area, and it's realistic to think that you'd want that safe area. The sight lines are very bad. We'll bring the hill down about 20 feet. It's a bad area. It's a rural road, a grade road. So, that's why I'm kind of surprised. We're going, oh, sure, let's just remove the H symbol. I mean, you have to look at the safety and the common sense in that too, and it didn't seem to be there.
And that's work, the 4-laning out is supposed to start next year, right? Or this construction season.
Yes. Yeah.
And how long do you think it'll take to get to that point if they start at the east end?
Well, to get to that point could be about a year, year and a half. Yeah, to that particular point. To complete it all is about another like 2 years in total.
2 seasons, yeah.
Roughly. Yeah. I mean that's if we're on time, and because we're not right now. So it is a pet peeve of mine. I mean, it's in my area. It's a road I take on a regular basis to drive my children to Crestwood. It's a road I used to take when I used to go to Crestwood. So that's how old that road is. And so it's about time, and you can see it is crumbling. And is it hard to put a bus route up in that area? Of course, the roadway's not done. We can't do things like that. But it'd be nice to service that area. So when it's done, then we can add more services to that area too. But it has to be safe. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Speaking of roadway, the roundabout is underway, right?
Yeah, the trees are
Well,
coming
yeah, do you
out.
see that? I'm excited. When I saw that too, I think I cheered out loud. So I was pretty excited to see the work
It's at
being.
Brayley and Park Hill West. Yeah.
That's right, going up to Atkinson, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and that will be our first roundabout. So that's a big deal.
In terms of the Tim Hortons, what would you think your traffic engineers say about how much impact one Tim Hortons is going to have at that corner? Does that make it so much less safe that it can't be built there, or not?
Right now, when you have between the sight line and the idea that there's no traffic lights there, in a sense controlling it, and that again, it's a whole construction zone. It's just a real big mess right now. But that's what happens when you're constructing a subdivision. So I don't think people are surprised about that, but everyone expected it to be done by now, and I think that's what it is. But as far as traffic engineers, they did come up with some numbers, but it's a guess too, and again, it's a concern to that's the only in out when you look at that subdivision too. So.
And there must be some temporary or emergency exit as well. There has to be for
There is
for fire
a
exit.
little one at the side. It's
Yeah.
interesting you say that. There is one actually, yeah, and so but that won't be a
Right.
permanent one.
And it's not a public, general public
No,
access.
it's blocked off right now if you look at it, yeah. But when we do that, the hill too, we'll be using that as an in and out too, right? So it's just going to be chaos, but once it's done, go for it. You know, it's just, I think we should do things properly before we move things forward like that, so.